Hello everyone, welcome to the Timbuka channel. Wishing you all a pleasant listening experience. This episode aims to decipher an authoritative biography authored by Stephen Nafee and Gregory White Smith, titled Van Gogh. Vincent van Gogh needs little introduction. He's arguably one of the most beloved artists globally, praised sincerely by people from all walks of life, in the East and West, regardless of age or expertise. His vibrant colors, rich imagination, and poignant emotions in his works have garnered admiration worldwide. Pieces like Sunflowers, Starry Night, and his self-portraits have transcended art, becoming universal cultural symbols. Those familiar with Van Gogh's life often lament his dramatic fate, a solitary, impoverished existence, unappreciated during his lifetime, grappling with mental illness, and departing this world at a mere 37 years of age. Yet posthumously, he emerged as one of the most celebrated painters globally, exerting a profound influence on 20th-century art. The immense contrast between Van Gogh's trials in life and posthumous acclaim sparks curiosity. Countless biographies attempt to decipher what shaped his unparalleled artistic legacy and legendary life. Among these, perhaps the most famous is Lust for Life, Van Gogh, published by American author Irving Stone in 1934. Stone crafted a classic Van Gogh myth, portraying him as an innocent, childlike artistic genius, a dedicated martyr to his artistic vision, willing to sacrifice everything. This enduring image satisfied the public's fascination with legendary figures, widely circulated, and deeply ingrained. If this image aligns with your perception of Van Gogh, brace yourself, for the book we're discussing today, Van Gogh, might shake up your preconceptions. Spanning over 900 pages with thousands of annotations, authored by Harvard Law School graduate Stephen Nafee and Gregory White Smith, both passionate about art, the book meticulously sifts through a wealth of literature related to Van Gogh. Its aim? To assert that the familiar narrative isn't entirely true. Van Gogh was merely a human being with flaws, weaknesses, cunning, and darkness within. He wasn't solely a victim of fate but partly responsible for the tragedies in his life. This book, upon its release in 2011, caused a seismic stir in the art world and among Van Gogh enthusiasts, igniting debates and controversies. Renowned publications like the New York Times and The Economist hailed it as a must-read of the year, underscoring its substantial impact. Over a decade since its publication, it stands as the most authoritative and academically esteemed Van Gogh biography. Next, let's delve into how this book shattered the traditional Van Gogh myth and explore four burning questions. Who was the real Van Gogh? A naive artist, a tragic martyr, or a person with significant character flaws? How did Van Gogh's bipolar disorder affect him? Particularly, did it have a positive impact on his artistic creations? What were the circumstances surrounding Van Gogh's death? Was it suicide or homicide? If Van Gogh falls from the pedestal of a god, should we still love him as before? Alright, let's start with Van Gogh's personality. The creators of the Van Gogh myth tend to overlook or downplay his irritable, volatile, and capricious nature, portraying him as naive, passionate, and unaware of the world. However, Van Gogh was quite a volatile individual. He engaged in intense conflicts with almost everyone around him: family, friends, teachers, colleagues, superiors, all of these interactions often culminating in hysterical arguments and mutual harm. The most infamous episodes being the proposal and gear-cutting incidents. The previous Van Gogh myth had its narrative for these events. In the proposal incident, Van Gogh admired his cousin but faced rejection due to her recent widowhood and societal constraints. Her family opposed the union due to consanguinity in Van Gogh's poverty, vehemently insulting him. In the gear-cutting incident, Van Gogh faced rejection and disdain once more. His admired friend, painter Gauguin, held him in contempt, taunting him coldly while indulging in the brothel, leaving Van Gogh, penniless, on the sidelines. Driven by agitation, encouraged by a prostitute, and amidst a bipolar episode, Van Gogh severed his left ear, presenting it to the woman he liked in Gauguin, who was present at the brothel. However, the book Van Gogh, relying on substantial evidence, offers a starkly different narrative for these two stories. In the proposal, Van Gogh persisted despite his cousin's mourning and outright rejection, bombarding her with fervent letters for months. Her father initially warned him to cease harassment, yet Van Gogh persisted, leading to a court case filed against him. Contrary to the myth, there was no insult from the woman's family. Instead, Van Gogh instigated trouble at their house, threatening them by burning his own hand with a kerosene lamp. Consequently, he was expelled from his own home by his parents. Crucially, Van Gogh wasn't as innocent or romantically inclined toward his cousin as the myth suggests. Simultaneously professing love, he wrote lewd jokes to another relative, proclaiming romantic love as illusory, with physical gratification being paramount. Upon realizing his proposal's failure, Van Gogh hastily sought a prostitute, writing to his brother that this woman was sturdier and healthier than his cousin, unchained by notions of loyalty. Regarding the renowned ear-cutting incident, Van Gogh offers a different perspective. Their relationship wasn't just Van Gogh seeking Gauguin's acceptance. Van Gogh repeatedly invited Gauguin to join him in Arles, aiming to establish an intimate community of artists against mainstream painting. However, differences in character, habits, artistic styles, and success in painting and romance quickly led to conflicts. Gauguin, contemplating leaving within a month, was sympathetic yet distressed by Van Gogh's erratic behavior, feeling threatened by potential attacks. Van Gogh, feeling Gauguin's detachment and potential departure, grew increasingly agitated and delusional, intensifying their conflicts. Finally, on December 23, 1888, after another heated argument, Gauguin left the house, prompting Van Gogh's frenzied act, part desperation, part hallucination, severing his ear and delivering it to the brothel keeper, believing Gauguin was there, leaving a message, "Do not forget me." This book, Van Gogh, takes a drastically different narrative stance on these crucial events in Van Gogh's life. The Van Gogh myth sympathizes with his plight, painting him as an innocent victim. Yet, Van Gogh openly discusses his character flaws, like indulgence in physical desires, possessiveness, and vengefulness, asserting that Van Gogh himself, not others' misunderstandings, should be held responsible for these tragic events. Let's discuss Van Gogh's bipolar disorder after exploring his personality traits. It's widely known that Van Gogh suffered from a mental illness. In the traditional Van Gogh myth, his bipolar disorder is often seen as a decisive factor in his life tragedy, losing his sanity, facing discrimination, a lifetime of suffering, and ultimately leading to his suicide. However, Van Gogh differs significantly by approaching his bipolar disorder from a more calm and objective perspective. The authors dissect the extensive history of bipolar disorder in Van Gogh's family, trace its childhood triggers, and acknowledge its contribution to many of his character flaws and abnormal behaviors. Simultaneously, the book doesn't imply that all of Van Gogh's flaws and unusual actions stem solely from bipolar disorder, absolving him of responsibility. It delineates the differing impacts of mental illness on Van Gogh's life and artistry. While bipolar disorder negatively affected his life, in art, it paradoxically shaped his distinct style positively. Bipolar disorder is a common mental illness, primarily hereditary but can also erupt due to environmental triggers or specific life situations. During episodes, individuals struggle to control emotions, alternating between extreme euphoria and profound depression. Remarkably, numerous renowned artists were victims of bipolar disorder, including poets Eliot and Keats, writers Hemingway and Tolstoy, musicians Schumann and Tchaikovsky, painters Michelangelo and Munch, among others. Many artists experienced a surge of inspiration during bipolar episodes, creating extraordinary artistic works, hence the moniker, genius disease. Van Gogh's torment initially stemmed from his family. His grandfather died of epilepsy at 53, his aunt remained unmarried due to epilepsy, and his uncle, after prolonged suffering, ended his life through suicide. Van Gogh's mother grew up in this environment, witnessing such tragedies, fostering a demeanor of indifference, harshness, sensitivity, and melancholy. His mother's disposition became the primary source of young Van Gogh's anguish. He longed to please her but faced constant disappointment, resulting in guilt, peculiar temperaments, and behaviors. Despite his love for her, Van Gogh destructively sabotaged anything his mother admired. This emotional pattern persisted throughout his life. Those he favored, he strived to win over aggressively, resorting to extreme, aggressive actions. Bipolar disorder led to extreme acts by Van Gogh like ear-cutting and eating paint. However, it's important to acknowledge that while bipolar disorder significantly impacted Van Gogh's life, his obstinacy and indulgence exacerbated the illness, deteriorating his relationships further. After all, not every artist with bipolar disorder experienced as tragic a life as Van Gogh's. Bipolar disorder also shaped Van Gogh's unconventional creative process. Lacking patience, unable to focus on intricate details or revise his works, he painted rapidly and incessantly. Dissatisfied with a piece, he would tear it to pieces. In a short decade, Van Gogh created over 2,000 pieces. His canvases were piled with thick paint, flowing from the board to the floor, devoid of definite lines or shapes. This approach, a result of bipolar disorder, hindered him from formal schooling, finding cooperative models, or peers for collaborative work and communication. However, the hypomanic state and unorthodox painting methods induced by bipolar disorder created the globally recognized Van Gogh style, notably visible in Starry Night. At the time, Van Gogh was undergoing treatment at the St. Paul Asylum, in a dire mental state. To create Starry Night, he could only observe the stars twinkling in the night sky through the barred window after the asylum lights went out. As per hospital regulations, painting wasn't allowed at night, so Van Gogh made rough sketches of the night sky, seeking prototypes during daytime strolls for additional elements in the painting. Night after night, day after day, he accumulated material, discovering the elements to portray on the canvas: a slumbering village, undulating hills, a distant horizon, and nearby cypress trees. Once these elements were set, his imagination soared, presenting a radiant starry night using an unprecedented blend of blue, gold, orange, violet, and brown, illustrating the refraction of starlight, bent, magnified, dispersed, swirling. This wasn't a conventional night sky, it was a universe behind starlight, showcasing boundless energy, infinite vastness, and ultimate tranquility, discovered by a remarkable artist. Van Gogh followed his intuition and feelings, depicting a kaleidoscope of pulsating lights, swirling vortexes of stars, radiating clouds, and a moon shining as bright as the sun, all from a cosmic starlight and energy-filled fireworks existing solely within Van Gogh's mind. Today, we marvel at the beauty of Starry Night and Van Gogh's talent, while medical and scientific communities see Van Gogh's afflictions within this masterpiece. According to Van Gogh, a century after the creation of Starry Night, scientists found signs of a potential neural storm in the brain. Certain epilepsy-related neurological disorders could cause abnormal neuron discharges, akin to explosions, harming the brain's most sensitive nerves, affecting attention, comprehension, memory, personality, and emotions. Hence, from a physiological perspective, rather than an aesthetic one, the swirling celestial vortex in Starry Night is a signal of Van Gogh's brain being stimulated and relapsing. This artwork, revered and admired worldwide, is, in essence, a psychiatric patient's medical record. The profoundly moving beauty depicted in the painting isn't solely from exceptional talent and giftedness but from a solitary soul expressing the pain endured at that moment. Bipolar disorder to some extent shattered Van Gogh's life, yet he depicted the world inside a bipolar mind with the utmost honesty and vibrant colors on the canvas. Van Gogh's brother Theo believed that Van Gogh's paintings were a reflection of himself. Every experience, pain, joy, tranquility, and tremor of Van Gogh's life manifested in his paintings. One could say all the profoundly moving beauty in Van Gogh's paintings crystallized from a lifetime of pain. After understanding Van Gogh's personality and illness, let's delve into a famous debate surrounding him, the cause of his death. Whether in the general impression or within the Van Gogh myth, he is believed to have died by suicide due to anguish and despair. Van Gogh, unemployed and devoted solely to painting, struggled to get by with his brother's support. However, his work never gained recognition, and his mental illness coupled with a sense of hopelessness eventually destroyed him. On July 27, 1890, carrying his tools, Van Gogh went out to paint in a wheat field. He shot himself with a revolver but failed to hit a vital spot, returning to the inn with the gunshot wound. After about 30 hours of agony, he succumbed to the injuries. However, the two authors of Van Gogh, approaching the case with a legal perspective, suggest that Van Gogh's death by another's hand is much more plausible than suicide. What evidence did these legal experts uncover? The most immediate doubt arises from the lack of physical evidence. The day after Van Gogh was shot, the authorities commenced investigations but found no weapon at the scene nor any of his belongings. Considering the severity of Van Gogh's wounds, he couldn't have concealed or destroyed evidence himself, indicating someone else handled or covered the crime scene. The second skepticism involves Van Gogh's wound. The gunshot was to his abdomen, an unusual choice for someone intending suicide, typically aiming at the head. Moreover, the bullet trajectory was at an angle, not perpendicular. Based on the bullet's location in Van Gogh's body, the shooter was at a distance, making it improbable that Van Gogh pulled the trigger himself. The third doubt pertains to the testimony of Van Gogh himself and others. While Van Gogh admitted to suicide during police questioning, his statements were vague, lacking certainty. There were no witnesses who saw Van Gogh in the wheat field for his painting excursion. Conversely, local residents testified to seeing Van Gogh near a small farm opposite the wheat field around the time of the incident. In 1956, a crucial witness emerged dramatically. A Frenchman named Shackleton shared a story involving him and Van Gogh. According to Shackleton, he and a group of adolescents often teased and insulted Van Gogh, who remained tolerant and distant. Shackleton obtained a pistol from Van Gogh's innkeeper, later used in Van Gogh's death. However, Shackleton vehemently denied any direct involvement in Van Gogh's death, claiming Van Gogh stole the pistol from his bag at some point. His motive for stepping forward years later was after watching a Hollywood movie based on Stone's Lust for Life, feeling the portrayal of Van Gogh differed vastly from reality in wanting to reveal the truth about the Van Gogh he knew, not a handsome, charming artistic genius, but a peculiar vagabond. Based on these points and evidence mentioned earlier, the two authors reconstructed the true scenario of Van Gogh's death. Van Gogh, for unknown reasons, visited a small farm instead of his painting location. There, he encountered Shackleton and his group, leading to an altercation with heightened emotions. Shackleton or others may have intentionally or unintentionally shot Van Gogh. Injured in the abdomen, Van Gogh dropped his painting tools, endured excruciating pain, and returned to seek aid at the inn. Frightened, the adolescents cleared the scene of the pistol and Van Gogh's belongings. During the investigation, Van Gogh reluctantly admitted to suicide, protecting the youths who took his life. His actions stemmed partly from his genuinely tolerant nature and perhaps also from a desire for death, conflicting with his rational opposition to suicide. These adolescents unintentionally granted him the liberation he sought. This is the most reasonable speculation regarding Van Gogh's death according to the authors of Van Gogh, based on existing evidence. However, they honestly remind us that there's currently no decisive evidence determining whether Van Gogh died by suicide or homicide. If Van Gogh's death truly occurred as depicted in Van Gogh, an accident, it would be a significant blow to the Van Gogh myth. He wasn't a martyr to art, his life and death were chaotic and accidental. Alright, we've just explored how Van Gogh challenges the Van Gogh myth from aspects of personality, illness, and death. Now, you might ask, if Van Gogh isn't the innocent artist or great martyr shaped by myth, should we still love him and his works as before? Let's discuss this question. In the traditional myth, Van Gogh was portrayed as an angel conveying beauty and love, enduring various worldly sufferings as a tragic genius, ultimately transcending all hardships as a martyr of art through his death. While this story holds touching elements, it elevates Van Gogh too much, distancing him from the earthly depiction in his art. Van Gogh, however, astonishingly pulls Van Gogh down from this pedestal with vivid details. The portrayal in this book presents Van Gogh like any ordinary person, not only having desires and emotions but also weaknesses, pains, helplessness, along with many dark and extreme aspects to his character. His life was dictated by chance and luck, unable to make people accept his artistic vision or control his fate and mortality. Yet, the book does not intend to solely depict Van Gogh as a pitiful patient or diminish his artistic achievements. It strives for fairness, objectivity, and respect for facts, avoiding simplistic, exaggerated, or overly dramatic depictions to simplify Van Gogh. He was indeed an ordinary person with a mental illness, but he also exhibited resilience and tolerance. In reality, between the extremes of a perfect God and a pitiful patient, there exists a complex and multifaceted human nature, good and bad, bright and dark. All of these complexities are evident in Van Gogh's creations and life. Just as in Van Gogh's paintings, the abundant and beautiful colors are never singular but a mixture of various hues. It's this diversity, conflict, and amalgamation that defined Van Gogh's art and shaped all great human artistry. The most precious aspect of art lies in presenting the complexities overlooked and evaded by people in life, revealing the truth and beauty within. This is where the most significant value of Van Gogh lies. It overturns the singular Van Gogh myth, opening up richer possibilities to understand the artist, art, and human nature. To us, it's this more authentic, fuller Van Gogh, not the seemingly flat and rigid art saint, that is more endearing. Lastly, we'd like to mention a film about Van Gogh, the animated movie Loving Vincent, released in 2017. It uniquely presents Van Gogh's painting style throughout the entire film, a first in movie history. Drawing inspiration from the interpretation in Van Gogh, the film portrays Van Gogh's complex character and handles his death as an open and explorative event. We believe those who watch this film will likely be moved by this complex Van Gogh and consequently love him more. Alright, here we are, concluding this interpretation of Van Gogh. Let's review the key points covered in this audio segment. The 2011 publication by Naife and Smith in Van Gogh not only elevated Van Gogh studies but also overturned the traditional Van Gogh myth. Its subversive nature manifests in three aspects. Firstly, Van Gogh wasn't just a pure artistic genius but had a complex inner world with evident weaknesses and dark aspects. Secondly, his bipolar disorder stemmed from familial inheritance, influenced significantly by the family atmosphere during his childhood. His bipolarity led to the tragedy of his life yet also fueled his artistry, allowing him to perceive a different world and project it onto canvas. Thirdly, Van Gogh didn't succumb to despair due to unappreciation of his talent but most likely died in a chaotic accident, not by intentional suicide. This more complete and authentic portrayal of Van Gogh, though falling from the pedestal, might be even more worthy of our admiration. When we gaze at an artwork and feel moved, when we delve into an artist's life and find it stirring, it's not because we've found an idol to worship or a myth to extol. It's because through these works and individuals, we see the subtle fluctuations in our own hearts, witness the hidden or apparent beauty in the world, and establish a connection, hope, and belief between our inner selves and the world. Perhaps, this is the most valuable and poignant spiritual legacy left to us by Van Gogh, his paintings, and all great artists and their creations. Well, that wraps up the essence of this book. Congratulations on finishing another book. Thank you all for your support and attention. Please subscribe to the Tim Booker channel, like, and share this valuable knowledge with your friends. Let's combine wisdom and practice, achieve our financial goals, and create a better future together. Thank you, goodbye.